Boys, we might be a little bit late to posting this video, I usually try to get these out on Monday. It's Wednesday, I've been hella busy. We're going to do the UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Song, my rare predictions, who I think is going to win and how. I apologize. I'm trying my best, I'm going to try to upload like every single day besides maybe Sundays. Just because I noticed like my analytics ain't very good on Sundays. Nobody's been paying attention. I guess I got a community of churchgoers because nobody watches my shit on Sunday. But I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things. I ain't quitting. Your boy's just been busy. Let's run through these. We got these prelims, light heavyweight division. Before we get into this, actually, there's been a bunch of canceled fights. I'm hoping I have every single one of these on so far, and there hasn't been a surprise last-minute addition, last-minute, cancellation. That being said, light heavyweight division. Modestas Bukauskas taking on Rafael Cerqueira. You guys know, number one pronunciator on YouTube for these UFC names, but because he's a good striker, he has some decent takedown defense, but doesn't have the most amount of volume. He can be very timid at times. Where Rafael, he's also a patient striker. He's patient yet very dangerous in the striking and on the ground, to be honest. He has a pretty good ground game. His patient style helps him find, the perfect shot to get a finish. You would think this dude is very decision heavy because he's very patient. Nah, this dude is patient until he can find that perfect shot and he puts you out. So he has some good power. He's good on the ground, on the feet. I just think, first off, the KO by Victor Petrino against Modestas, it's not aging very well. Modestas got KO'd by Victor Petrino. And Victor Petrino, we have all already seen, isn't that great. But Rafael has got KO'd 3 months ago. This dude got knocked out 3 months ago. I'm going Modestas, KO win. Mainly because that dude got knocked out 3 months ago. Let's go down middleweight division. Abdul-Malik taking on Nick Klein. Now, Malik he's a good grappler. He likes to come forward a lot, throw some heavy strikes, mix in some wrestling. He has some nasty elbows on the top. So if he does get it to the ground, keep an eye out on those nasty elbows. Where Nick, he's a good grappler. He's a very rangy dude, so he's very good at using his range. He's using his long arms for an advantage. He likes to stay on the outside when striking, use his jabs, his leg kicks to keep things at his distance. He's good at timing his shots as well, and he does have some pretty underrated transitions when it gets to the ground because of his BJJ. With that being said, I do think Malik is just better everywhere. I am seeing like a first round, fairly competitive. Malik's still trying to figure things out. Round 2, he'll figure out his range. He'll figure out how to get in. I'm seeing round 2, Malik drops Nick and then follows up with some nasty ground and pound. I can see some elbows, some 12-6 elbows there. Nasty ground and pound TKO win for Malik. Round number 2. Let's go down to the bantamweight division. Ricky Simon taking on Javid Basharat. Now, Ricky is a non-stop, high cardio, fairly well-rounded fighter. He doesn't excel in anything particular, but he's fairly well-rounded. He can do it all. However, I don't know if it's the lack of fighting IQ or lack of being able to just adjust mid-fight, but if this dude isn't having success, if he goes through round 1, halfway round 2, having no success throughout the fight, he does very little, if not nothing, to adjust and try to win. He doesn't have a plan B, C, D. He only has plan A. Where Basharat he's a grappler with a really good offensive and defensive, honestly, wrestling skills. He has some decent kickboxing, nothing special. At times, especially in his last fight, he can be overly patient and too hesitant, to be honest, that's what cost him in his last fight. And it could cost him this fight. It could cost him some rounds. It could cost him the whole fight. I am thinking round 1 is going to be very close, mainly because Basharat is going to be very hesitant and patient. I could see a very patient and hesitant Basharat round 1 and halfway round 2. I think this is going to be a fairly close fight because I don't know. I don't think Basharat's going to be. I think he's still going to be too patient, too hesitant. I can't trust someone who showed such poor, fight IQ in his last fight, being so patient and hesitant. I can't trust him to win a fight. However, I think he's going to win this one. It's going to be a close 29-28 decision just because of that patientness and the hesitant. Like, if that dude wasn't so overly patient and hesitant, I feel like he would probably clean sweep 30-27 Ricky Simon, to be honest. But I'm going very close 29-28. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a split decision in there. Let's go down middleweight division. Nursulton, Ruziboev taking on Eric McConico. I don't even know. I hope that's how you say that dude's name, but Ruziboev, he's a good grappler with decent wrestling. He hasn't really shown much of it. He's a decent striker as well with some good power for this division. He uses his reach very well because he's a pretty big guy for this division. Where Eric, on the other hand, he's also a good grappler with, he has some striking, we'll say that. His game plan will always be close the distance, get you to the cage, or just get you to the ground in general, and that's where he wants the fight to be. He has some sneaky transitions on the ground where he can pass through position to find a better control. However, Eric is stepping up on pretty short notice. And, so is Ruziboev. These guys are both stepping on pretty short notice. And yes, both of them are on short notice. I don't know if Eric is UFC level, to be honest. And this is being taken place in middleweight, not welterweight. These guys usually do fight at welterweight. I just think Ruziboev, this is his actual weight class because he's pretty big for welterweight. I think it's going to be a combination of things. We could see, Eric could be, we've seen before where people come in here last minute, not in the UFC. They could be like juiced up. So I wouldn't be surprised if Eric gets to win, but I think Ruziboev is better everywhere. There was a time where this dude was talked about to be a very high-level prospect until he ran into the GOAT, Joaquin Buckley, but I think he's got this. I'm going second round KO for Ruziboev. Let's go down, though. We have light heavyweight Ion Cutelaba taking on Ibo Aslan. Now, Cutelaba, he's a crazy fighter, both inside and outside, like during the fight itself and during the weigh-ins. He's always looking for the stoppage. However, he doesn't have the best chin in the world. We'll say it how it is. He doesn't have the best chin. He's mainly like a grappler, I would say, with some pretty powerful hands, who does like to close the distance, get close and personal with you, even though he has been more of a decision merchant as of recently. He still has the hands to put someone away, where Aslan, he's a striker with good power. He has been pretty sloppy, to be honest. I wasn't very impressed with his last performance. I didn't think the TKO KO wasn't anything special. His power definitely makes up for the lack of technique. His cardio, again, very questionable. A lot of people are picking Aslan. I've seen a lot of people picking this dude. I'm going with the GOAT, Ion Cutelaba. My thing is, I think Cutelaba weathers an early storm. I could see him getting rocked in round 1. I can see him getting dropped in round 1. I think he recovers. I think he has more experience in these fights. And again, I wasn't too impressed with the sloppiness of Aslan. And then round 2 and 3, I think Ion Cutelaba exposes Aslan's terrible gas tank. 29-28 decision win, Ion Cutelaba. A lot of people think this is a fight that ends in a finish. It looks like it should be ending in a finish. In my opinion, it's one of those fights where everyone thinks it's going to end in a finish and it's going to be a decision. Let's go down, especially because Cutelaba has been a decision merchant recently. But let's go into the featherweight division. Fili taking on Melquizael Costa. I know that's not how you say it, but it is what it is. Your boy has a little bit of that tism, but Fili, he's an aggressive, fairly well-rounded fighter, but this dude relies on his chin too much, to be honest. He does have a pretty decent chin. He relies on it too much. He's like a technical brawler with some solid wrestling skills. It's just relying on that chin too much. Like, he gets in a barn burner fight and he's just allowing people to tee off on him pretty much. Where Costa is a fairly well-rounded fighter as well, with some creative and dynamic striking with good grappling skills. He's fairly strong for the division. His takedown defense, though, his takedowns aren't the best, though. We'll keep it as that. They're not the best. He has some powerful hands, solid technique. He can mix in some combinations. I just think Fili is better everywhere, but sometimes his fight IQ gets you can tell his fight IQ is showing and it gets in the way, where he should win certain fights, but he doesn't, or he should be winning certain exchanges, but he doesn't because of that fight IQ. I'm going 29-28. I could see Costa putting out Fili, but I just think Fili is better everywhere, to be honest. It's just the fight IQ. We'll see. If his fight IQ is really bad this fight, it probably will deter me from ever picking him again, to be honest. Let's go into this main card, though. light heavyweight division. Alonzo Menifield taking on Julius Walker. Now, Alonzo Menifield, he is a good... he has some good power to him. I'll give him that. He has some good power. He has some decent takedown defense, but he can just be too aggressive, too sloppy when he's striking. He can make some weird decisions mid-fight. You know, he got in trouble with that in his last fight where he made some just stupid decisions. Julius Walker, on the other hand, he has some good BJJ and is fairly defensively sound. You know, he has some good defense on the ground and on the feet, but he can end up in some bad positions. And he just relies on, in my opinion, he relies on his like strength more than anything, more than technique to get out of certain positions. Takedown defense is pretty bad, but it's pretty new to him because he is pretty new to MMA in general. I just think he's too early, you know. Alonzo Menifield should beat this guy. He's only been practicing MMA for I think about a couple of years now. Second round TKO. I don't think it's going to be a flatline or anything. I could see wobbled up against the fence, TKO, not out cold, but definitely concussed. Let's go down to the featherweight division. Probably one of the best fights of the night. Contender for fight of the night, to be honest. We got Gene Silva taking on Melsik Baghdasaryan. I don't know. Big ass name. We're calling him Melis from now on. Gene Silva is a heavy hitting, dynamic striker. He has become a fan favorite pretty much ever since he joined the UFC. Because of his entertaining fight style. He also has some good takedown defense. Nothing special, but it's pretty good. Melsik, on the other hand, is a very aggressive striker with I believe he had a professional kickboxing background. And, you know, he's always moving forward. He has a pressure-heavy style, diverse set of striking. He has good power, but his grappling is definitely the biggest hole in his game, especially that takedown defense. I think personally this is going to be a high-level striking match between Gene Silva and Melsik, and I think Gene Silva has what it takes to beat this dude. I think it's going to be fairly competitive, 29-28. Maybe Gene Silva loses the last round, but I could honestly see 30-27. I don't think it's going to end in a stoppage. Melsik, I think, has some pretty good defense on the feet, so I could see a back-and-forth war. I'm leaning on Gene Silva. Let's keep moving down. Middleweight division. Brendan Allen taking on Anthony Hernandez. Brendan Allen he's a BJJ black belt. He honestly, one of the best like strikes he has in his game is his low kicks. He has some really good low kicks. He has some good takedowns, decent striking in general. However, his last fight did show a combination of questionable cardio and fight IQ in general, you know. Two things that made him lose that fight, in my opinion, were Anthony Hernandez. He's a good grappler, and he gets almost like, I saw a stat where he gets around like 7 takedowns per fight, which is insane. And he has that cardio to back that up, because going for all those takedowns is exhausting. But this dude has cardio for days. He has some good wrestling, BJJ skills. His striking isn't the best part of the game, but it's not terrible. I think we're going to see a very competitive first round. I think second and third, Anthony Hernandez is going to break Brendan Allen. I think Brendan Allen's nonstop, you know, his cardio, I think it's going to break Brendan Allen. And honestly, I see round 3 rear naked choke submission Anthony Hernandez pretty much breaking Brendan Allen from the cardio itself. But let's go down. Main event, bantamweight division. We got Henry Cejudo taking on Song Yadong. Henry Cejudo, do we need to go into this dude? He's the Olympic medalist. He's a former 2-time champion. 2-division champion. He's now 38 years old, which is very important, especially in bantamweight. You know, I don't need to go into a lot about Henry Cejudo, how he fights. 38 years old in bantamweight is what you need to know. Song Yadong, he is a technical striker with good footwork. He is very fast, and he hits hard, especially in this division, but he can be hittable, wanting to make fights into wars. I'm going to just say this. Cejudo is too old. Second round TKO win for Song Yadong. I don't think it's going to be like a flatline knockout. I could see it being catching Henry Cejudo. He stumbles to the ground and finishing him off with some lackluster ground and pound. Something like that. Song Yadong, round 2 TKO. And yeah, I just think Father Time is caught up to Henry Cejudo. 38 years old. Honestly, he made probably the worst. I don't think anyone in the UFC has made such a terrible mistake like Henry Cejudo retiring as being double champ. Worst decision, honestly, I think any UFC fighter has made, especially in recent memory. But let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of this fight card? Is it good? Is it bad? We had a bunch of cancellations. It is what it is. I'm still gonna be watching. And yeah, thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. And I will see you guys. Trust, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll upload tomorrow. I'll try my best to upload every single day but Sundays. I promise I'm gonna try my best. You know, we were on such a good streak, practically uploading every single day. It is what it is. Your boy's back. Let's get into it. I will see you guys in my next video.